live on StreamYard, and we're live on YouTube. All right. If anybody is here, welcome to Rick's Life as I See It. 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The only time zone that matters. Still does. But there we go. Right, just waiting for people to show up. But I'm trying to think. What's happened? Not much at all, really. It's been a very quiet week. I said when I spoke to you last week, I did I did shoot my firearm a little bit. Actually I shot exactly 18 rounds. That was it. Three magazines, and I didn't do bad actually, but I wasn't in the mood for it. You know what I'm saying? So I thought I was gonna be. I thought, well, I'll once I get there and start shooting, I'll want to shoot more. But now, I mean, I was aching too because we had rain on and off last week, and when it rains or the threat of rain, my arthritis plays up bad, and I was aching. Wasn't hurting, I was aching, and I just thought, I ain't doing this. So that was the end of that. I haven't done any shooting this week yet, but I might try again tomorrow. But it all depends on what the weather is. So I'll just mention that. That's about all I've done since I was on here last week. I think was there anything else? No, that's it. That's it. Just waiting to. I got to get hold of my cousin tomorrow to find out when he's going to fix my car. Putting the brakes on and the wheel bearings, because it's. But that's I think once those are done, I think most of that loud noise I'm hearing will be over. Because the you can hear the front hub. You can hear it rubbing as it's turning as you're going down the road. The rear rotors you can hear because it's metal on metal when I got my brakes on. I got my front brake. I know most of the stopping is done by the front, which I got, as you know, I had those done. But the back has definitely got to be metal on metal because I got that horrible scraping sound. But anyway, that's it on that. That's it on that. So I'm trying to think. I know it's not a car show, but quick question for you. I think I mentioned it to you before. Is there's meant to be some oxygen sensor between down there near the manifold on my thing that's why my engine light keeps coming on, because we switched it off but it came back on again. Or I wouldn't say we switched it off, we reset it, but hell, within 4 miles it came back on again. So I gotta see if I might ask my cousin to look at that too, but I don't want my bill to get too high. You know what I'm saying? Is there a way? Here's my question: is there a way you can override the check engine light for it doesn't come on at all ever, no matter what? Or is it? I can put black tape over it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can think of a way, but it's probably not something that's good or should be advertised in a sense.
No.
And honestly, it's I don't, well, whatever, to each their own. So
Yeah.
but I would think it's I can't remember which one you said there, but either upstream or downstream O2 sensor. There's a good chance it could be bad. It might be reading and telling the truth, and you may need a new converter. So which a lot of times older vehicles, need those in a sense for admissions to be proper. So depending on your state, um, you might want to look into that. I would state, throw it on a machine there and see what the codes are coming up for, because it's probably the exhaust or converter issue. I would assume so. It could
I think it was 9055. I think or something like that. I wrote it down somewhere when I done it a few weeks ago. But I have to look it
yeah.
up. But
Yeah, you can email it to me or something,
yeah,
or you can look it up, whatever. But yeah, it's because if the O2 sensor is bad, it may just kind of state that, or not as simple as that. But it may also kick up another code, which would be your converter as well, or catalytic converter, whatever I
well,
was calling
it just
it.
said oxygen sensor, and my other one was my gas cap thing.
Okay. All
That was
right. Yeah.
the
I mean, so it might be an oxygen sensor. Those you can order online, but that's bad advice for some newer cars because some are a little more fussier than others.
yeah.
I've always had good luck, at least long enough to get through my inspection. So, but to each their own. Again, they're like
Okay, yeah. Here
$15
you go.
online.
It was the code on the reader said 0155, and the other one was 0442. They only had the two codes on there.
What was the second one again? 0442.
0442.
All right, I can try to check into them in a bit, but
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, I said it's not a car show. So, hey, Raphael, how you doing? So, good to see you. No, but what was I going to mention? It was something I was going to mention. What was it? No, I see the. I just read somewhere tonight that the ATF has backed down and getting rid of the what you call it, the it had come to me what was it, the pistol brace rule. They're removing it, so which I get, which is a good thing. Even though they were told to remove it, they said they weren't going to. You know, under Pam Bondi, it was staying, but she's gone. So there we go. 2 Live Moo. You're right. 2 Live Moo. Evaporation is the evap code and oxygen sensor. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. 2 Live Moo must have looked them up. Yeah. So, but problem is, I mean, exactly where that oxygen sensor is. It says it's somewhere down near the manifold. But hell, I don't. I looked, but I couldn't see it. I know it's something that's sticking out of. I think it's bolts into the manifold or close to there, and it sort of once I seen a picture of it. It looks like a spark plug to a certain degree. The kind of shape of it.
yep, with a wire off the back.
Yeah, yeah. I just got to see,
Yeah.
but I can't see it anywhere there. But it's got to be there. I'm just missing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's usually two. So, usually an upstream and then downstream. So one before the converter, one after it. So, because
I think
one takes a reading as it comes out, and then the other verifies that the converter did its job and it's cleaner on the way out.
Yeah, but I think it's the one. Hell, I don't know. The one closest.
Sometimes it says bank 1, bank 2.
When I looked it up, it's the one closest it said you can see it from the driver's side engine. If you're standing there looking
Okay.
at it,
Yeah.
it's on the
Yeah.
driver's side down there, near the manifold. So,
Yeah.
or on the manifold somewhere down there. But I haven't been able to find it yet. So, but again, I
Usually they're
haven't
not.
looked again.
Yeah. Usually they're not too bad to get out. Every once in a while, like some are tighter than others. They do sell specific sockets if need be. If you
Yeah,
can't get a wrench in or something like that, but it's basically got a slit down the side so you can
get it
place
over
the
the way.
wire over it and slide down. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just yeah, something to keep in mind. If I assume whoever's might do it or whatever, hopefully it's an easy one, but some of them can be a bitch.
yeah, yeah.
It's
So
just
that,
it all depends on location, really. That's really all it is.
yeah. So anyway, that's oh yeah, how we got back on the car. Oh yeah, Two Live Move got us back on the cars. Yeah, but I was talking about the ATF and their doing that, and I see they've also um, reworded or relaxed the what the hell the federal law or rule or whatever where theoretically you can drive anywhere in the country with a firearm as long as you got it, firearm locked in one place, ammo it's not and the ammo somewhere else. You should be able to drive through all 50 states that way. From I can't even, it's a federal thing that allows us to do it as a authorized gun owner, you know, transporting your firearm. I can't even the name of the damn thing though. But anyway, what they're saying now is if you're authorized to carry, authorized. It's we know it's the Second Amendment, but if your state is a state that has a permit and you have a permit to concealed carry and your final destination is you're legally to do the same thing there. What the rules been saying all this time is you can't stop or anything from one to the other. I mean, like that woman who, you know, was there a woman who stopped in New Jersey, got caught, or if say you were flying from Florida to Vermont, but your plane got delayed or rerouted to New York City, and you pulled in there to the New York airport, you went and got your baggage. They arrest you for having a gun when you without permit, without a permit and all that good shit. Well, what they're rewriting is that that travel and stopping along the way is permissible. It's all part of getting from A to B. Now you can't say spend. You go from Florida and you're going to spend 2 weeks in South Carolina before you make it to Vermont. It doesn't mean that, but it means like staying overnight somewhere, or if your car breaks down if you're driving and you got to get it repaired, you're covered under that law still. Where it was very ambiguous. Is that the word I'm looking for? The way it was written before, it's saying you have to go from A to B without stopping. So there you go. That was one of the reasons why when I moved here, I took the it was actually a little bit longer for me to get home and get here because the way I drove through Connecticut was to come up to I can't remember where it was now, but the shortest crossing across New York State to get into Pennsylvania. Because I didn't want to be in New York State that long, even though I had my firearm locked in a box and my ammo separately. I didn't want to get stopped by the cops, because even though federally we're allowed to do it, I believe back then, that's 9 years ago, New York didn't look too kindly on anybody carrying a firearm, whether you were allowed to or not. So, but anyway, now they relaxed it.
Now,
So that's what I'm saying,
there's still a lot of places like that that don't necessarily understand the law or whatnot. So
Yeah.
it's always a good thing to try not to get pulled over, in my opinion, especially
Oh,
with
yeah.
firearms.
Yeah. Well, in that short distance I drove, I made sure that I stayed, speed limit or just a couple of miles over, and, tried not to do anything stupid that I would get pulled over, you know? So, which I thought is going in the right direction. So there
Yeah,
we
I
go.
believe there was already a law like that, but apparently I don't know what was going on or wasn't necessarily enforced in places like Jersey and whatnot, or
Well,
upheld, I
that's
should
what I'm
say.
saying. This is the same
Yeah,
law I'm talking
yeah.
about.
So
They're rewriting it for
hopefully,
it. It states that yes,
okay,
if you're
good,
stopping
good,
over, it's all still part of the same law now. It's
yeah,
it's the same trip, you know.
good.
Which, yeah, it is. I thought.
Yeah, it's always a
Yeah.
pain when you gotta, double check your route just to make sure, you're
Oh
compliant,
yeah,
just
I
in
know.
case, because that's the way things go. So, um, yeah, yeah, it's always a good thing.
Yeah, and you
And
guys
I
in
know
New
you
York, they
jumped
still,
off it.
you know.
Oh, go ahead.
I said you guys in New York still have it rough. But I
Yeah,
tell you, I'm
yeah,
glad I'm not in Rhode Island anymore. Man, I
yeah.
mean, they're making New York look like a free state. With their gun laws up there now.
Oh,
Trying to ban every semi-auto. You know, where all you're allowed to have is shotguns, lever actions, and pistols. And that's it. You know. So, uh, but they're all going to lose eventually. Well, unless unless the Democrats get in charge. I know I'm going politics. Unless the Democrats take back over, you know, it's everything. I don't want to open my mouth, but no, I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to not show my what's called, but I'm not going to go down. It's like different topics, do politics, but at a state level, right? Indiana, they had their we had it was voting day yesterday here for the primaries for the Republican Party, and there was 8. Anyway, they were the because the Republicans had the majority here in Indiana, and they did redraw the district maps, but 8 Republicans, actually, I believe 8 Republicans voted with the Democrats to squash it for it wouldn't pass here, right? And Trump said that those 8 Republicans, he says, if he's got anything to do with it, you're going to be primaried out. Well, yesterday, what they're saying, if you look at all the local thing, is MAGA is alive and well in Indiana. 7 of them lost their primaries, and one just barely squeaked by. So there you go. So don't believe all the media you hear that Trump's losing nobody wants Trump in there. They're all regretting, voting for him and all this shit. That's what they all want you to believe. But you get to the heartland of the country, they ain't thinking that way, you know? So I thought I'd just throw that out there. Now back to my regular scheduled programming. I just, I thought it was kind of cool, really, you know?
The
So,
way I see it, if they're saying he's losing, then he's probably winning. So if they say he's winning, then it's time to get concerned because something's going on. So yeah, it's
yeah.
like whatever they tell you is the damn opposite. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
that's what it seems to be almost with everything. So
Yeah. And I see now, did somebody, now you heard about the secret room with the burn bags in it with all the information about them, the FBI, all the stuff that they, from how they tried to get Trump from 2015 and doing the Russia thing and all that. They found a bunch of documents naming names and a burn. I don't think anybody's going to get arrested for it anyway. Nobody's going to jail because nobody's got the balls to do it. But they said they found there was a room, according to the director, that they found a room that wasn't even on the blueprints inside the FBI building, and it was one of those rooms that are you can't hear in it. It's secret and everything else, and documents can't be taken out of it and all this shit. They didn't even have a key to open it, but they got in it. I guess they got a locksmith there or something. I don't know what they did, but when they got in there was burn bags where the material hadn't been burned, and this is where all that information was at. And that's what the Patel, is that his name? The FBI guy. That's what he was saying, and even what's his name said it. They found this a couple of months ago, even before. What's his name left as the assistant director, Dan Bogino, whatever his name is. He even said the same thing. He said, "Oh yeah, we found it." So I personally don't think anybody's going to get arrested, and put in jail. But unfortunately, it's kind of nice to hear that what we were saying, that it was all put up job. There's actually proof to prove it, so there we go. That's about it. That's about all I got on that subject. So I'm moving on, talking about shooting with disabilities, my little shooting with disabilities section. And this one we've touched on the stuff that I'm talking about but I came across another thing is self-defense tips for people with disabilities. Having a disability does make you a greater target. In fact, people with disabilities are 4 times more likely to be victimized than those of any other demographic. People with disabilities are victimized at higher rates than any others, at 83.3 per 1,000 people. Where this source came from, I don't know. I have to look. I didn't click on the link to say where they got it from, but it says here, disability doesn't mean you're powerless, though. Similar to most aspects of functioning with limitations, it simply means that a right mindset, tools and skills may be necessary to thrive. You know, so of course, what it's saying. I mean, this is stuff we've all talked on, and just a normal person should know this. You know, you should situational awareness, having a plan when you go somewhere. You know where the exits are. You know how to contact someone for help, and you know, you know, prepare for the worst case scenario. Don't be this is another one. Don't be an easy target. Don't trust anyone who hasn't earned it. And make it obvious that you aren't meek or timid. You know, I thought that was pretty good, you know. Of course, then it goes on about, you know, firearms for disabled. We've gone through all this before. Semi-autos. And this article that they must be getting paid by Smith and Wesson, because they're mentioning the EZ nearly in every paragraph under firearms, and the Ruger, the LCR for revolver. You know, of course, but I mean, what it says though here is if small, you know, because you have limited hand strength, right? Don't fall for thinking a smaller caliber is always better for shooters with disabilities. Smaller cartridges like the 22 LR, 38 Special, and the 380 ACP are great because they have less recoil, but they may not be powerful enough to reliably stop an attacker. You know, cartridges with more stopping power, that's what you want to call it, are 9mm, 357 Magnum, 45 ACP, that kind of stuff. But it all comes down to you know your limitations, what you think you can handle. So if you got to shoot a 22 LR or 38 Special, or like me, a 380, then by all means do it. As it says, it's better to have that than a pointed stick. So, you know, then of course this article goes on about, we've already touched on this, about, you know, best ways to carry, you know, what kind of holsters there are and all this kind of stuff, and, you know, and why they recommend the Ruger LCP for a revolver. It's one of the very few that has a not so heavy trigger for a revolver as most other ones have. You know, it comes out of the factory at a fairly lightweight trigger pull. Well, that's what they're saying anyway. And of course they're saying, you know, a semi-auto is easier for shooting one-handed, for a one-handed person and that kind of stuff. So, you know, it all comes down to, as everything I've talked about already, you know, find an reputable teacher to teach you who has dealt with disabilities before, taught somebody else. I mean, but every teacher's got to start somewhere. You might be their first one. I mean, I wouldn't just dismiss them because they never trained somebody who's disabled. I would give them a go to see how they do before I would dismiss them. I'll at least give them one or two, you know, have one or two lessons with them to see if you know they would be good at it, or they might not be. You know, that's my own personal take on it. Because all these teachers who will teach you with disabilities, they all had to start with that very first one at one point or another. So, So there we go. That's about all I got on it this week. I told you it was really short this week. But I just wanted to mention what I found that. I said most of that stuff we already talked about. But I just like the thing that, it was the percentages there. 83% of all out of 1,000 people or victims, 83% of them are normally somebody with a disability of some sort, so, which I thought was kind of high, but I wouldn't put it. Let me click on that link and see if it gives me real quick where the source is. They're getting that from. Let's have a look. It's here somewhere. Where in the hell did I see it? Oh, here it is. Okay, click on that. This is from the Bureau of Justice Statistics. And that's out of the Department of Justice this comes from. So, there we go. So, must be legit, I guess. So.
Yeah, maybe a baseline.
The Department of Justice wouldn't lie to a disabled person, would they?
I don't know. And how is it reported or found out? I mean, is this due to criminal, prosecutions or somebody calling the police?
I didn't read the article.
Is it somebody just asking people and they're like, yeah, I get picked on all the time, or or I get attacked or assaulted. So I don't know. It's hard to say. And then a lot of people probably wouldn't admit that they did because pride or whatever, So whatever they report, it's probably just an idea.
Yeah.
I'd guess. I don't know without further information. So.
Oh, they got a little thing. Okay, here's one, and it's going back. This is an old report I'm reading right here. Goes back to 2019, right? 26% of disability of persons with disabilities of all non-fatal violence crime. 26% of all non-crime with disability, while accounting for about 12% of the population. Okay. The rate of violent victimization against persons with disabilities, 46.2% per 1,000 people aged. The rate of violent victimization against persons with disabilities, 46.2 per 1,000 age 12 or older, were almost 4 times the rate for persons without disabilities. 1 in 3 robbery victims, 33%, had at least one disability. Persons with cognitive, can't pronounce the word today, disabilities, had the highest rate of violence victimization, 83.3%. That's where they got that from. So 19% of rapes or sexual assaults against persons with disabilities were reported to police, compared to 36% of those against persons without disabilities. See, they don't even, if you're a goddamn, they don't even care if you're disabled or not. If they're a sexual predator, they're going to get you. Anyway, but it says click on another link to get the full report, but I ain't doing that. So there we go. So it's but then again, was it the FBI? No, it was the FBI who was fudging their numbers on crimes, wasn't it? That they discovered a year or two ago. But doesn't the FBI work for the Department of Justice, or they're their own thing? They're all, to me, law. Government law is government law. You know what I'm saying? They're all the same. You can't trust them.
Yeah, numbers can get yeah, what gets counted in the numbers, and they could all kind of fluctuate. I think
Yeah, I mean that's
like
like
the mass shooting thing, or
yeah,
even school shootings. If
yeah,
it's
and
might
even
not even be near a school, but
what they call gun violence, total gun violence. They throw in suicides with that. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. You know,
So it's hard to say. It's just a rough idea, I guess, that they throw out there to probably try to justify their jobs.
yeah, yeah. But I do believe that disabled people do get picked on more if somebody's going to do something, rob you or whatever, because they feel that we're an easy target. You know, we're not going to fight back, type thing. So to a certain degree, I can sort of see what they're trying to say. But anyway, that's what I was trying to say. Just because you're disabled doesn't it means you don't have to lay down and take it. There is a way. Just get a firearm, practice with it, train with it to protect yourself out there. You know, I mean, I'm more. I always been sexual awareness. Always look around, even out here in the country. I look around and stuff. I mean, like even when I go and walk out the house in the morning, when I walk into my vehicle, I look up and down the road and shit like that to see what's happening. I just do it automatically. I was thinking about it this morning actually when I was walking to my car. I looked up and down the road to see, you know, was anything out of place or anything. I just do it automatically. So and it's a good thing. It's a good thing to get into. But I mean, where I'm going, I said I was thinking about it this morning, but where I was going with this conversation was I'm more aware of what's going on around me than I used to be. Because, you know, with the judge apologizing to somebody trying to shoot up the Trump administration the other day, apologized for the way he was treated when they arrested him. I thought, I can't believe this shit. You know, the guy tried the if he could have, he would have shot the president of the United States. And you're fucking apologizing because the goddamn Secret Service threw him to the ground. You know what I'm saying? I thought, Jesus, what's this country coming to? So there you go. See, that's why my brother lives in Russia, because we just become too violent over here. That I've got to think about carrying a gun. I, you know, so, you know.
I'd argue that he's just become too docile.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
you.
suppressed his inner self and whatnot. As the healthy human is supposed to get pissed off. You're supposed to fight back. You're not supposed to be a punching bag.
Yeah,
It's,
and
it's common sense, but
yeah,
so some people, some places, they got a history of suppression and whatnot, and now there's generations and generations, and the bad guy comes in, pops you in the mouth, makes a burger, and takes your wife, and you're just supposed to wait on the cops. I mean, that's what you call a man. You go right ahead, but
yeah,
I,
exactly.
I don't want nothing to do with that.
No, I don't either. I don't either. I mean, and also if you look at it from another point, you know, like it states, in our Constitution and in the Declaration of Independence, freedom, our freedom, liberty comes at a price. I.e., somebody's always wanting to take it away from you. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Freedom has risk, but
yeah,
it's worth
yeah,
having.
That's what I would. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, freedom has risks, and you know, you can't have. I mean, what was it? They what's that saying? If you want security and safety, you're giving up. You're giving up. You don't deserve it because you're giving it up. You
Well,
know.
either way, it has risk. I mean, look at all these other places where, guns aren't allowed, all this. Over in China, they just, use a dozer and mow down as many people as they can in cars.
Oh yeah.
People always find a way. It's not that, shit. Damn it, I
Well,
just had a brain fart because I was thinking about the other places there. But try to get back to what I was thinking here. But
but while you're
damn it,
thinking,
I lost it.
even in Iran right now, right? The U.S. is blowing the shit up out of that country, or were, right? But they're still, even now, it was last week, they executed 40 people who demonstrated against them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, risk.
And
That's what I was thinking. Risk. All right, freedom has risk, as
yeah,
because everybody has their freedom in a sense, and if anybody stumbles across the line of inserting their will upon you or disrupting yours, it could, could be potential
yeah,
risk in some sort. But also, being 100% controlled has risk.
yeah,
Look at the jails. Look at all these other places where it's the nanny state, they'll call it, or whatever you want to say.
yeah,
So there's still all these crimes, people still getting killed, poisoned, all types of stuff. So either way, if you got risk, you might as well have the options available to you to defend yourself better, or to live freely.
yeah. I was reading an article. Was I reading an article? Yeah, I was reading an article. Well, it wasn't an article. It was on a forum, and believe it or not, it was on how it got onto this topic. I'm not sure. It was on my model railroad forum. It's meant to be, you meant to be talking about model trains, right? But somehow they got onto the Iranian citizen, right? How it got there, I'm not sure. I wasn't going to go. I jumped in on this question because I read it was something about the original question was the price of fuel on trains, basically freight trains. Is it making a difference on how much they're charging? I mean, that's the gist of the question. So how in the hell it got? That's what made me click on it, and it's already got a few hundred people talking in it. I didn't go back to the beginning to read it, but somewhere in there it got on. How it got onto Iran, I don't know. But anyway, what somebody said. Well, you got to think of the citizens of Iran. Because what it was, one of the people responded on how it got was, well, it was sort of like the Iranians don't have any. Somebody said, well, why don't the Iranian citizens fight back against their government and overthrow it, right? And somebody says because their government took their goddamn guns away from them. The terrorists have them, and their army has them, but the actual, for lack of a better term, honest citizen of Iran don't have firearms. I don't believe, from what I researched, but I could be wrong on that. But that's the problem with a lot of these places. I mean, Venezuela. The reason they could destroy that country when the commies took over was because they took the people's guns away from them. And once you take the guns away, you control them. And that's why they want to take them away from us here. Why we still have fire? why we still have the right to own firearms in this country, even though they try all they can. I think that's what keeps the check on the government from going too far, because they know that you can push and push and push us, but at some point we're going to break and fight back. I'm assuming that's what they're thinking. Otherwise, that's why they always trying to take our guns away from us. Because once they've taken them, they can do whatever they want to us. And it still could happen if if a particular not Republic, a typical political party gets in control, packs the court, and all this kind of stuff. And, they could change all the rules, for there's no way, like them trying to redistrict the states to give them more seats where they can take control of the House of Representatives and the Senate. Well, if they take control, there's no way that the other parties can ever win. So, you know what I'm saying? So eventually that's how they're going to do it. Then they're going to come and take our firearms. I'm hoping it's not in my lifetime, but I think it's coming. I really do. Unless this country's got to get their head out of their ass. But anyway, I'm going back off topic. I'm getting back political again. So I'm going to shut up. So.
Well, I'll say it won't be in my lifetime. So it could be at the end of my lifetime, but it won't be in my lifetime.
Yeah. My buddy, who I go to every morning and hang out and we bullshit and stuff, he was saying today, he goes, you know what? He said, it was kind of morbid. He goes, he said, at our age, because he's a year younger than me, I think. And he goes, at our age, he said, at least we got fewer years ahead of us, to keep with all this bullshit going on. We won't be around much longer. So he said our best life as Americans is over with. We had it way back when, back in the 70s and 80s. I said, I understand what you're saying. You're right. I said, I'm closer to the end of my life than I am like where I was in the middle. But I said I could live another 20, 25 years. So there you go. I mean, even what was it? Was it just recently? Like, what's his name? Ted Turner just died. And he was in his 90s. So I turned 70 next February. 70. Oh my God. I never thought get that. I never thought I lived that long anyway. But what I'm saying is I could still live another 20 years. So I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest with you. Not that I want to go now, but I mean, look at me. I'm a big old boy. I don't know if my heart can keep pumping for another 20 years with this, with all my elements. And it's kind of morbid, but I don't want to be stuck in a home like a vegetable or whatever, and in total agony, and I got to live through it. Does that make sense? So, in some ways, I hope I go in my sleep. So, don't panic if I'm not here next week.
Yeah, no, I think it makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense to me. I say the same thing. I'd rather, I don't know, something quick or in the sleep or something, but I damn sure don't want to go the slow miserable route.
Now
So
that's what
or
I was basically trying to say. You know.
the or the abandoning a home with, I don't know, state care or something, and it just I don't know. It's nothing I'd want to deal with. So I think a lot of people are like that. It's your independence. Nobody really wants to give that up, or you know have to depend on others in some cases. Although there's a section of people out there that's been their whole life is just freeloading. So maybe some people are fine. You know what I mean? But I assume the
Yeah.
average person would rather not take that route.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, I mean, sometimes I think, well, it might be nice to go into a, for lack of a better term, a nursing home, old people's home, or assisted living, and let somebody, supply, do cook my meals for me, make my bed and all that kind of shit. And but then I think about, nah,
Yeah, they'll do it all wrong. They'll do it all wrong.
I know.
Buggy at the worst time. Probably no privacy.
And then more
All
than
the
not,
chicks will have
they won't let me have my firearms hanging on the wall. You know,
no. You'll
all
have
them
to
will
give
have to
those
go.
up.
You know,
Those have to be sold for your care.
yeah,
All the girls over there will have STDs because they're trapped in the same place. So it's just be a damn nightmare. I mean, if you're lucky, they might actually have some decent meatloaf or something on meatloaf night. But besides that, I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. I know. So the more I thought about it, the less I might like that idea. So anyway,
Oh, maybe I'll open one up. I'm not
yeah,
Somali, but maybe I can figure something out and get a train room. And you can just sit there and run your trains, and we'll throw a few meals at you every day and hose you down and
I'll be
collect
happy.
a big fat check from the government.
Yeah, uh, yeah. You take my fact check from the government, right? Because you're
Yep,
supplying
yep.
everything.
But I'll actually take care of you though. Won't be that big of a deal.
Yeah,
So maybe throw a few more in, and I can get a. What are they driving? Porsches
you
or
have to.
Lamborghinis? But
I mean,
legitimately.
you have to give me a little allowance for I can buy train stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Shit. We can even take you out shooting.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, have it out in the country. You can have your own shooting range on the property there. You know,
You know?
yeah. So there you go. Anyway, it's almost quitting time. The hour's gone by fast. Damn. So anyway, oh, quiz. Today's the drawing. Oh yeah. So let me have a look. The question was, what I wanted to know was, in the Die Hard movies with Bruce Willis, playing John McClane, I wanted to know what sidearm he used. Well, he even though this is what's written down for my answer. Even though his off-duty sidearm was a Beretta 92F pistol that he normally wears in a leather shoulder holster, most people think his gun is the Beretta 92 FS, but it's actually a slightly earlier model that is nearly identical, which is the 92F. He used the 92 FS in the next two Die Hard sequels, Die Hard 2 and Die Hard with a Vengeance. though this is the other one I wanted, though he switched it up to a Sig Sauer in Live Free or Die Hard. That's the two answers I wanted: the 6 hour and the 92F. You know, and I'm trying to think now. Let me. I only had a couple of entries, believe it or not. Very disappointing, but that's all right. I don't mind. And what you call it? The winner is Raphael, and I think he was in the chat earlier. He and I don't know if he still is, but Raphael's the winner. So there we go. You know,
Congratulations.
yeah. Let me write that down on the thing here for I know who to send it to. Okay. All right. I remember that. So, yeah, Raphael's still here. He said he's great. He's cheering himself in the chat there. All right. There you go. Oh, okay. Now for the next month's drawing or quiz, and the drawing will be the first Wednesday of June is the 3rd. So it'll be the 3rd of June is the next drawing. And the question is, I actually, be honest with you guys, some of you might remember these questions. I used them a few years ago, but I was reading them. I thought, that ain't a bad question. I don't think many people entered, so I'll use it again. So, this one is, I want to know the youngest Medal of Honor recipient in history. Who was the youngest? That's part one. Part two was, I want to know it's going to tell you, but giving you the part two, the way I've got to ask it will give you a clue of where to look for the first one. I want to know who is the youngest recipient since the Civil War. I want both names. The youngest ever and the youngest since the Civil War. So, because there won't be any earlier than the Civil War, because I think that's when they started giving out the Medal of Honor, was during the Civil War, I believe. So, if I'm correct in my history, so get it into me by June the 3rd to be in for the drawing for the swag pack. So there you go. That's it. We're good. There we go. The hour's almost up, but we still got time. Do you have anything you wish to say or anything there, New York Outcast? Closing remarks?
Yes. I would like to say, circle back to the auto aspect and
Okay.
maybe remind people that I found an exhaust leak in my muffler. Actually, the pipe flanged to it, but I put it off. I figured, it's not too bad, not too bad. A couple days later, sounded like a damn derby car or whatever. So the moral is, when you spot a problem, just jump on it. Just jump on it, because it got to the point where, in New York, they'll throw you $1,000 exhaust ticket. if you got a problem with your exhaust. There's a new law they passed. They jacked the price on it. So,
Bastard.
uh, yeah. So I figured, I better just get on that real quick. And in doing so, I cost myself about an extra $100 because I had to go buy one from the damn local auto store. So,
No, no.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I ended up paying about $250 for a damn muffler and a gasket. And then they tried to have the nerve, the balls, to offer me two bolts for the flange at $12.50 a piece.
Oh, Jesus Christ. For
Yeah,
two bolts?
it's for two bolts. Yeah, and they're just basic bolts with nuts. There's nothing fancy, no springs, no nothing. Just two bolts. Sons of bitches. So obviously, I didn't even have to tell the cashier where to put those, but I got it all together, but basically spent about $100 more than if I just would have ordered it the day I realized and had it here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, it's just one of them things. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but you got to look at the bright side. Yes, it was an extra $100, but it was less than 1,000.
yeah, exactly. That's where I'm with you
Yeah.
on that one. Yeah. So
Yeah.
and around here, yes, there's a lot of cars like that, but it's you're playing the lottery at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not, you know, I don't know. I'd probably get shot over $1,000 ticket for my exhaust. I don't know. So it just wasn't worth it to me, So still pissed, extra 100, but could have been worse.
Oh,
But
yeah.
no, so yeah, don't put off the little things because you wake up the next morning and it's not so little anymore. Other than that, eat a salad, do something decent. Weather's breaking, kind of. Get your ass out of the house, go walk around the block, whatever it is. Walk the dog. Uh,
Go
Eat
to
a
the shooting
salad.
range.
Yeah, whatever. Get active. Use the time we got because you never know. You know how much time we all have. So
Absolutely.
uh, get out there, do something. Stay positive. Don't take any shit.
And carry
Keep kicking
everywhere.
ass. Yep. We'll catch you next week.
All right. Great.
Oh, eat a salad. Eat a salad.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thanks. And with that, we're about ready to call it. And, stay armed. Stay carry everywhere because you never know. You don't want to become a victim. And if you've got a disability, you're at higher risk. That according to the statistics. I'm just saying, you know. So with that, I'm calling it a night, and I want to thank everybody for being here. I really do appreciate it. And as I said, we'll be here next week at 7 p.m. Eastern, the only time that matters. So with that, good night, everybody. Good night, Sabrina.